Hello student and welcome to today's lecture. Today we are going to learn the various models which are implemented in various organization, and which are the types of these models and what is the use of these models that we are going to see. So let us begin. There are, as you can see, there are four types of models. So one by one we are going to see that what is the importance of each of the model, what is the belief of each of the model, that means they believe in which things, and what is their attitude towards employees and towards the organization as a whole. So the model of OB is basically concerned with behavior on the part of managers at their top level. Okay, so as I said, that model means how managers behave with their subordinates, how they treat their subordinates, what is their attitude towards them, and what is the thinking of managers and approach towards their subordinates and employees. Okay, so model, you can say, is a belief system, and therefore it is important for managers to understand the nature, importance and effectiveness of their own models and also of other models. Okay, so again, in simple language, if we say that model means these are the explanations about how things work, why people work, why people behave in particular way, and what could be done to induce or motivate people to behave in the way the management wants them to behave. That is, as every time I'm saying, I'm repeating that organizational objectives have to be achieved. That is the thing which every organization desires, isn't it? So if you want your people to behave in the way you want them, this is what every model expects from the employees, isn't it? So models are based on certain assumptions about people, the way people behave. Okay, and there are certain interpretations and predictions about the events. So let us study one by one which are the four models and how which model is best suitable in which circumstances. Okay, so let us begin with the first one, the autocratic model. This is the oldest model, and the basic assumption of this model is that management knows everything and employees know very little. Okay, so I'm repeating it. This model is based on the assumption that management knows everything, okay, and employees know very little. Okay, as good as they don't know anything. Okay, and it also assumes that employees are not enthusiastic about their work, and if you want your employees to get work done from them, management should make use of the force and power to make people work. Okay, that means you should forcibly get work done from people, because people are basically not enthusiastic, they are passive one. And if you want these people to actively do their work, what you have to do as a management, you will have to force people. Okay, so this model is, as I said, is it's the oldest one. Also, the thoughts expressed in this model are very old, which are not accepted in today's modern world. In today's organization, if you implement such kind of model, it would not be acceptable. Okay, so this kind of old model or old kind of thoughts are expressed here. You can compare this model with, if you remember, the theory X, which was given by Douglas MacGregor. Okay, in first year you have learned that theory. So in that, Douglas MacGregor also had expressed very negative thoughts about employees. People are lazy, they dislike work, they are not interested in doing their work, they are not interested in shouldering responsibility, right? So these were the thoughts expressed by Douglas in theory X. And when we talk about theory X, it is also called as a traditional theory, because the thoughts which are expressed in that theory are quite traditional, which are not acceptable in today's modern world. Okay, so in the same way, in autocratic model also, the assumption is that this theory or this model is based on the assumption that management knows everything and employees don't know anything. Also, that employees are not enthusiastic towards their work, and management has to forcibly get work done from them. Okay, so the only job of your employees is to obey the orders given by the managers without asking the questions. That means, for example, if any order is being given, the manager is supposed to tell the background of that order, tell the reason why that order is given, and what are the expectations of management from the employees. This is what a general explanation has to be given by every manager. Okay, and out of that, if your employees are having any sort of queries, then you should have that freedom to express them freely in front of your manager. But these things are not present in this autocratic model. Okay, here only thing is expected from employees is to just obey the orders without asking any questions. And further, it believes that if orders are not followed as per they are given by the employees, then these employees will be punished or they will be penalized. Punishment may be in the form of penalty, right? So they will be penalized if they are not following the order. Okay, so that this kind of attitude this model is having, and this is a very traditional view, and this they think that management thinks that because of this view they can have a tight control over the employees at work. Okay, so this kind of attitude they are having. Then the employees are totally dependent upon their boss, because boss thinks everything for them. Employees are given very less chance to perform, and the thinking behind is that boss of that this model believes that employees give their minimum. Okay, that means while working, doing their task, these employees are giving their minimum, very less they are contributing towards the organization, and therefore they deserve to get minimum remuneration. This is what the thoughts which are expressed here. Also, the boss also thinks that if there are some high performers in the organization, they are considered as exceptions. Okay, exceptions means they are rarely found. Okay, high performance, and it's generally, if you look at the kind of attitude of this model, if you are having such kind of negative attitude towards employees, there is no question of finding higher performer employees in such kind of organizations. And if you by mistake, if you find such performers, they are supposed to be as exception to the case, right? And in long term, you can't expect such kind of good performers in the organization, because these good performers would be they will think that they have been harassed under this model, and they will look for the better job in another organization, right? So they will not work in such type of organization for long period of time. Okay, so this is the way of thinking in autocratic model, and this model is not a complete failure. Even today this model exists in varying degrees in some of the organizations. We can find some of the organizations where the superiors are quite dominating. They don't like their subordinates to ask them any sort of questions, difficulties, and they don't like participation of their employees or subordinates in decision making process. So such kind of managers do exist in some of the organizations in today also. So we can call it as kind of a dominating kind of a structure model, we can say about this model. Then coming towards the second model, it's custodial model. Now this model emerged out because it wanted to remove the weaknesses of the autocratic model. Because of autocratic model, what happened? Employees experienced insecurity, frustration, and aggression towards the boss. Also, they were not given freedom to have a free discussion with their boss. Their feelings were suppressed, and because of suppressed feelings, what happened? The anger found the outlet in the form of disputes with the family members and neighbors. Okay, because what happens when your feelings are suppressed, your anger will be it will come out not in the organization, not in the front of the boss, but it will come out at your home. Okay, in front of your family members, in front of your close relations, where you expect your relations to understand you very well, isn't it? So that is, home is a very secured place for us, where we have our family members who love you a lot, and therefore you can burst out with anger on your family members. So that is the outlet. So this happens because your feelings are suppressed at the workplace. Okay, so that it finds an outlet in your family. Okay, so that's the ultimate result. And because of all these things, these were the drawbacks of autocratic model, and therefore some of the employers who were progressive thought about the way to develop better employee satisfaction and security, and providing welfare facilities to labor, and therefore they came up with custodial model, where they started taking care of security needs of workers and providing more welfare facilities, because custodial model wanted to remove the weaknesses of autocratic model, and it wanted to make employees happy. Okay, and but this is only possible for the organizations who are having good financial condition. Okay, because if you want to create good facilities for your employees, of course money plays an important role. Okay, then only what will happen, if you provide good facilities to the employees, they'll be happy, they'll be contented, and that happiness would be reflected in their work. Okay, but one drawback in this model is that because of facilities only, people don't get happy, isn't it? And it's not that when a person is happy, that doesn't mean that he is a productive employee, isn't it? So happiness can't be measured as one of the parameter for excellent performance, isn't it? So potential of people cannot be converted into excellent performance only with the help of welfare facilities. This is what it was experienced in custodial model. Okay, so this model also did not motivate strongly. Up to certain extent it was motivational quite for the employees, but not strongly, and only a passive kind of cooperation was received from the employees because of only welfare facilities. And therefore this model is not totally worth discarding. You can't say that it's useless one, but it's not the final answer, and therefore people continued their efforts to find something better in addition to previous model, and therefore they came up with the third model, which is called as the supportive model. Okay, so what is supportive model? It's built upon leadership instead of power. Now here the supportive model, the name itself signifies that here support to your employees in every respect is worth, or it's of vital importance, we can call. And here the manager as a leader assumes that employees are not by nature passive. Look, now he's a very a positive, optimistic kind of a person, and he thinks that employees are not by nature passive. Okay, they become passive because the organization doesn't support them, or doesn't motivate them to do the things in the way they want, isn't it? So if these people are passive, it is a result of lack of adequate support from the management. And on the other hand, if the management provides a good support to employees and gives them a chance to improve, they will definitely take the responsibility and contribute the organization in the better ways. They will work very hard in the organization if they are supported properly, if they are participated in decision making process, if they are given freedom to do their work, right? So this supportive model implies management orientation to support the employee's job performance. Okay, so here this is as compared to earlier two models, this is the better model, we can say, where organizational support to employees plays a very important role. And this model feels that participation of employees in organization is very important, and the role of manager is to help the employees in whatever way they need and solve their problems. Okay, so this is what about supportive model. Now moving towards the first last one is the collegial model. Now what is meant by collegial? Collegial means a body of persons having a common purpose. That means a group of people who are having same objective when they come together. Okay, that is collegial. So it is a team concept, and this model is extension of supportive model. This is also a positive kind of a model, where this model was tested in laboratories and it was introduced in work situations. And a more important part of this model is that this model is suitable for the environment, internal environment within the organization, where there is unprogrammed work, intellectual jobs, and job freedom. These are the three important parts in this model. Under this model, the management builds a feeling of partnership with employees. Okay, now this was something new, where management gives the feeling to the employees that they are not the employees, they are the partners, they are the contributors. And once the employees get the feeling, their morale increases, right? Because you are not working as an employee. Working as an employee is a different thing, and working as a partner is a different thing. When you get the feeling that you are the boss right? So you will work more hard, more dedicatedly, isn't it? So this feeling is very significant and useful. And managers, they are treated as joint contributors rather than bosses. This is the integral part of this model. And management is like a coach which builds a better team. And employees are quite self responsible, they are self disciplined, and they enjoy a sense of fulfillment and self actualization. You might remember self actualization was the last need in the motivational theory of Abraham Maslow, isn't it? So according to Maslow, a human being works because he wants to satisfy 5 types of needs, right? And self actualization is the last need. So nothing like it that in this model your employees are able to get the satisfaction of self actualization. So because of this, their employees performance increases, they are satisfied, they are self disciplined, and they enjoy their freedom in this kind of model. So if you compare all these 4 models, we can say that supportive and collegial are the models which are acceptable in today's world, and they are also tried and tested and found to be successful in many of the organizations, right? So but if you think about all these 4 models and compare them with each other, you will come to a conclusion that a single model is not, it can never prove to be a best one, isn't it? Because models are used as per the situation. Now autocratic model, even though it looks that it's not a good model because it thinks very negatively about employees, but it's not totally discarded. Each model is having its role in different circumstances, right? Only the thing is that management has to identify the model, and which actually it is using, and which model would be more effective in which circumstances, right? So the question is how to choose a model. Okay, now the answer for this is that choosing a model depends upon the situation you are facing, the kind of people you are working with, their behavior, changing nature of people, conditions, new responses from the managers. All these things are very important, where your manager have to be very flexible about which model is to be used. So there is no any one ideal model which is to be used for under all the situations or circumstances. It depends upon the situation as to which model is to be used. Okay, so today we studied about which are the models of OB and how these models are having its own characteristics and its own role to play in different situations. Okay, so with this we will end with today's lecture. Thank you.